One Doctor gives you national prefixed prices with no call-out or overtime charges 24 hours, 365 days a year. Drain Doctor. Emergency plumbing and drainage. As quick as a wink. The Doctor will see you now.
Drain Doctor. Proud sponsors of How to Start Your Own Business.
Hello and welcome to How to Start Your Own Business. In today's programme we'll once again be hearing from the British Franchise Association, the only voluntary self-regulatory body for the UK franchise industry. So we're spending some time getting to know two different businesses who are accredited BFA members with a proven trading and franchising record. Firstly, Brian Smart and Tom Endine of the British Franchise Association explain how one of the BFA's main roles is to help potential franchisees distinguish the good franchises from the not so good.
The BFA was set up in order to give prospective franchisees a real opportunity to see what the good franchise companies in the UK are. We assess all of our member companies against specific standards in their structure, in their financing, in their legal agreements and in their trading history. That gives our prospective franchisees a very good indication of the businesses that have been well set up to offer the kind of franchise that they might be thinking of buying into.
The guidelines that the BFA work on is something that enables us to put our stamp on a business to say that it is actually a credible franchise business. What we actually look at is all aspects of the business in regards to its franchising operation. So we'll look at the franchise agreement, the contract which actually ties all of the commitments together from both sides, making sure that's been put together properly, fairly and actually in line with the code of ethics. We also then look at the accounts of the business. Is this actually a stable business? Is it sustainable? One of the things we want to ensure is if somebody is buying into the network to run a franchise operation, that there is actually a proper franchise opportunity for them to run, that it's actually something that they can make work and make a living out of. We're also looking at the marketing. Marketing is key here because it's the message that people get first time round, what they actually get as their first impression of the business. And we need to make sure that that is actually true, that it is transparent and that it is proven, that there's nothing misleading in that information that could make someone feel that they're getting something different to what they are actually going to be running. But we also survey franchisees. It's a very interesting part of the process to actually get that real life feedback from the franchisees in the network. What do they actually feel about the franchise? If they've had any disputes or if there's been any problems, how has the franchisor dealt with that? Has that been done satisfactorily? And so it's looking at the full range of how that business operates, all of the contracts, all of the operations, all of the processes, the training, the support, who's actually running the business, and who are the people that are actually in the business with the experience of franchising that the franchisee is going to rely on to make sure that business operates properly.
We recently met with Paul Fenner of Autosheen, who tells us more about franchising in relation to mobile valeting services.
Autosheen is a mobile valeting service aimed at the prestige marketplace. It's principally targeting a recession-proof sector of the market, people who can afford the services. But in line with that, we have to offer absolutely top-end valeting services. So all our franchisees are qualified to formal recognised Institute of the Motoring Industry qualifications. They offer services ranging from very simple valets right up to what we call detailing, which can cost over £1,000. And they also offer specialist rectification services such as scratch removal, and also they are able to put paint protection systems on to give long-term protection. So it's all about offering that high-end service. Autosheen is a collaboration really of what were three historical valeting brands, and we've now pulled it together under one banner. All those brands were initially conceived as franchises by various owners, which were bought by our current owners, which is Forekla, which is a Queen's Award for Enterprise company, and we've now rebranded, relaunched And the idea of a franchise is that we can offer a high-end local service that will generate good income for our franchisees. They're much more motivated than employees, and equally we get to see our brand grow nationally. We try to target two key sectors. One is business to business. That's a great way of also being introduced to prestige customers such as executives, MDs, board members, that kind of thing. But we're also targeting prestige customers in their own right. And that's why we actually train to the levels that we do. And the guys end up with 5 formal qualifications. So it's a dual strategy in business development. And when they first launch, part of that strategy is telemarketing to introduce them to corporate clients.
I come from a retail background initially. I started at 15, which was the last sort of catchment before the legal age limit went up to 16. And I stayed within the retail sector for 8.5 years until I was made redundant. I then had an opportunity to work with a friend's dad who actually owned a franchise himself. And I was there for 2 years as a project manager. By directly being involved with a franchise, I realised that actually it was a solution for me to create my own sort of future as such, as there aren't the same job prospects that there used to be. I found out about AutoSheen through initially looking on the BFA website. I saw a small article, had a quick glance at it, and then automatically went and looked at AutoSheen's website. And the website was fantastic, really informative, really stood out.
Franchising really allows you to get into areas that would be very difficult if you were to build a business around full-time employees. Franchisees, by their very nature, because it's their business and they're enjoying the profits, are much more motivated in offering a quality service, which is what we're based around. They're much more reliable, they're much more enthusiastic. So they don't need to be managed as such. We do genuinely allow our franchisees to develop a business in the direction they want to, as long as it's within the brand and offer the services that we say we offer. So franchising suits our particular format very, very well, and the history over the last 2 years through what's been a recession has shown that it's actually been highly successful.
A typical day will ultimately depend on what I've got booked in the diary, because no job is ever the same and requires the same amount of work. So typically at a corporate location there'll be a lot of basic washes, and then private you'll maybe be asked to do more specific tasks like fabric cleaning, upholstery cleaning, leather treatments, polishing work. But ultimately it all depends on the customer. Franchising has changed my life quite dramatically in the last year. I moved back home to help the financial side whilst the business grew. That won't necessarily work for everyone, but it's something that I felt was the right decision for me. It's given me the opportunity to be responsible for myself and my own future. Effectively, I've cut out the middleman, which is associated with a lot of the profits within sort of like your working environment. So although when I was in retail I was a manager, and again I was a project manager at the following company, I didn't have ultimate sort of like freedom to warrant my working day, my lifestyle, and where I wanted to develop the business in my own way to some extent. Ultimately, I prefer getting my hands really involved, but I do enjoy the marketing aspect and looking at sort of like new and sort of like trying to be a little bit innovative in terms of the ideas that I use to obtain new business. Because it's important to sort of not forget that you really need to sort of keep growing to ensure that you've got a constant stream of work coming in.
We're looking for people who want to buy a business, not a job, and that's key. We spend as much time in our training in developing the commercial aspects of a franchisee as we do in the practical side. So the person should come to us with an idea about business. We're looking for the usual, the drive, the determination, those kinds of things that will, you always hear when people talk about starting a business, the personal characteristics you need. Once they've done that, they need good communication skills. We will do the rest. That's our role as the franchisor.
For myself, I stay in regular contact with the team of guys that I trained with, which is quite nice because you are out on your own sort of every day, so it's nice to sort of like have a catch up and see how they're doing and seeing what else is going on. We also have a forum, so if we have any questions or queries that we're able to sort of communicate through that. And then we can also sort of communicate via head office.
You need to be sure that you're really committed to franchising. You understand what franchising is about. I'm an ex-franchisee, so I've been there. It's hard work, but any new business is, but with the helping support of a good established franchise, then you're able to actually soften the edges, soften the risk, and franchising has an incredibly high success rate, which is one reason why the banks are so keen to lend.
I would definitely recommend franchising to anyone, but it has to be something that they need to make a decision for themselves. It's not something you can go into half-heartedly. You do have to make an investment, and you do have to dedicate a lot of your time. But for me, absolutely no regrets into going the franchising route, and it was absolutely perfect for me. If you're looking to get into business, it's a really good way to start up if you haven't necessarily got the confidence to go it alone. Buying into a brand has a huge amount of power that you just wouldn't be able to create simply on your own.
If you have the mentality, if you have the drive, it was great. I bought my franchise and sold it 10 years later for 10 times what I purchased it at. Fantastic experience for me. Hard work. I built mine into a management franchise. That's what I wanted to do. A lot of people around me were happy to stay at a one-man in a van. Absolutely fine. But yes, it was a great experience for me. And I'm here today because of where I started, which was as a franchisee.
The great thing about a franchise is that it can't be a franchise unless there already is an existing successful business. What the franchise does is to clone that successful business. If the business itself is rubbish, all franchising will do is make more piles of rubbish. Now, the great advantage for an investor is that because there is an existing business that's going to be cloned, you can go and poke it. You don't have to take anybody's word for it. You don't have to just believe what's in the brochure. You can go and see the real business. In an established franchise, there will not only be the originating business, there'll also be a number of franchisees. There might be as many as 200. You can also go and talk to them. What was their experience? How much did it cost them to get in? Was it worth it? Are they making a profit? Are the costs as the franchisor has described them? All of these are questions you can go and ask people who have had the experience of doing it.
About 80% of businesses in the UK that operate as a franchise are actually homegrown brands. You won't necessarily know of them all. Some of them may actually be smaller networks, but about 80% are homegrown. Of course, there are obviously a number of big brands, international brands that we recognise, especially in the fast food sector, which do come over from other countries, the US being one of those main operations. But in actual fact, franchising in the UK is very much an incubator for getting businesses up and running, and franchising is a big part of that.
We'll be back after the break to find out more. Don't go away.
Choosing a plumber should never be a gamble. Call Drain Doctor, and it won't be.
Taking on a franchise is a big step, and one you should only take once you've thoroughly researched what's really involved. British Franchise Association accredited exhibitions are your perfect opportunity to speak with experts, hear from franchisors, and gain from free educational seminars. Visit thebfa.org for all upcoming exhibition dates and access to free tickets.
next to your home, your car, boat or motorhome are probably the most valuable assets you own, so it makes perfect sense to take good care of them. That's why caring owners trust AutoSheen, the UK's leading mobile valeting specialist. From a standard or environmentally approved waterless valet starting around £15 to prestige detailing and polishing services or a protective coating application guaranteed for 3 years. For more information, contact us now.
There's a national plumber that charges you the same rate with no call-out cost, day or night. Drain Doctor.
Today's cars are more complex, and the law is changing. If you see a warning light, you could fail your MOT. Snap-on has been at the forefront of vehicle technology for 97 years, manufacturing a range of tools and diagnostic equipment for the professional tool user. Snap-on, voted the #1 preferred brand of choice. No matter what you drive, Snap-on provides solutions to technicians so they can keep you on the road.
The doctor will see you now.
Welcome back to part 2. We'll be hearing more from the BFA shortly, but first we travel to Kettering and Shrewsbury to find out more about Snap-on Tools' nationwide franchise.
Snap-on Tools is a division of Snap-on Incorporated, which is a global company. It's founded in 1920, and Snap-on designs and manufactures tools, hand tools, tool storage, diagnostic tools and equipment for the automotive and in professional tool users. We've got something like 4,500 franchisees across the world, and in the UK we've been trading now for 47 years, and we've got about just over 430 franchisees. When a franchisee joins us, they're getting the rights to sell our products into a designated territory. So they have a defined territory that's fully surveyed before they join us, with a total list of customers. And then they've got their mobile truck with around £45,000 worth of tools, where they will then take around calling on each of those garages and each individual customers and selling them the products that we have. My history with Snap-on is that I actually started off my life as a teacher, but I found that my life I wasn't in charge of my own destiny, if you like, and a friend of mine had mentioned about Snap-on, so I came to Snap-on as a franchisee back in 1980, and I was a franchisee for 3 years, liked the company, but felt I needed a challenge then to move into the company, and then over the past 30 years I've done a succession of jobs within Snap-on and became managing director 2 years ago. Nick Allen is one of our current franchisees. I think he's been with us about 5 years. He joined us as what we call a second van, so he ran his operation in conjunction for a primary franchisee, but he's now on his own, a guy full of confidence and enthusiasm. I'm absolutely sure he's going to be a real success.
I've been working for Snap-on as a franchisee now for 9 years. And I'm enjoying it. It enables me to have all the support of a larger company and a product which is well known in the workplace. So I'm able to promote a product which everybody understands. I started out after leaving school as an apprentice. I trained as an electrical fitter, which is a 4-year apprenticeship, which I enjoyed. It was good fun. Unfortunately, at the end of 4 years, I was made redundant along with all the other apprentices, which was due to the climate at the time. So I found myself as a skilled man, but with nowhere to go. I was looking to work for myself. I've always had a thirst to work for myself, and the harder you work, the more money you earn for yourself, and you're in charge of your own destiny, really. I hadn't really taken on board the franchising concept. I was actually working with somebody who used to be a Snap-on tool dealer. He'd been very successful. He decided after a few years he wanted a bit easier pace of life, and when I'd met up with him, he explained to me what it was all about. I thought, this is an opportunity for me to start my own business. What else am I going to do? How am I going to drive a business forward? By taking this route, it enabled me I'm passionate about the tools and the equipment, so it was something I could really get my teeth sunk into.
Snap-on started in 1920. Joe Johnson was our founder. He invented the detachable socket, which is what you've got there. And this is our very latest one, so some 90 odd years later we've still continued to develop this ratchet. And we do a full range of hand tools that are really the standard of the industry and seen to be so. We also do tool storage units and powered tools, especially in cordless. But the great thing about Snap-on is that it's kept up with the times. And today, if you're going to fix a car, you can't do it without some sort of diagnostics. And Snap-on, over the last 20 years, has developed a range of handheld diagnostics. This is our latest one, which makes it really intuitive and easy for the customer to diagnose faults and then to fix faults on today's cars, which have got so many electronics on it. It's very difficult just to do it with a wrench. So Snap-on have helped and kept pace with the change of the industry to enable the franchisee then to be able to develop his business as cars get more complicated with more electronics on there. They've got the tools to be able to sell and develop their business.
I think if you're going to invest in a franchise, you need to look at something where the brand is very, very popular. You want to get into something where everybody knows what you're all about and something that you can see where you've got longevity really. And what's very useful about this product is I'm continually seeing customers on a weekly basis. I have the ability to go to them. So I'm not sat in an office waiting for somebody to walk through the door that I can sell to. Also, if you take any technician and ask them what tools they want to use, that regardless of whether they need to pay for them or not, if you said we will give you free tools, what would you like? Every customer, every engineer out there, every mechanic will always pick our brand. So you've got brand confidence, and I think that's a biggie when you're looking to invest in a product.
Someone who would be interested in joining Snap-on could contact us either through one of our existing franchisees or indeed through our website. Initially, we'd send them out a pack that tries to explain about Snap-on and encourages them then to, if they're interested, to attend a discovery day that we have here at our headquarters, which is about 3 or 4 hours to give them an idea of the support that we provide and give them the feel of the company so that we're something that's recognisable.
When I started with Snap-on, the support was there from day one really. When we load the van, you load it with an area manager who's going to be your area manager. So you get to build a relationship with him. He explains the best way to lay the truck out. You do some initial training, which is in the classroom training, talking you through how it's all going to work for you. You also have a guided tour of Snap-on, so you understand how the business works with regards to where your stock's coming from, who the people you're going to be liaising with. Then when you come out onto the road, you do a 6-week initial blast. So you have your area manager sat next to you throughout your first 6 weeks. In your first week, he tends to do the meet and greet with the customers, use your computer, sell the product, and then you pick up off what he's doing. And that enables you then to grow and obviously to build.
For Snap-on, it gives us the distribution that we want, and it enables us to tap into people's energy where they want to. They're passionate about the tools themselves. A lot of our franchisees, although not exclusively, do come from the trade or have some understanding of it. But it enables them to fulfill their dreams by going out and being self-employed, in charge of their own destiny. And of course, it gives us the opportunity then of selling our products to the end user.
Running my own franchise has changed my life quite considerably really. I'm working a lot more hours than I was before, but that doesn't really concern me. I'm quite enthusiastic about putting the hours in. I'm not scared of doing that. But what it does do is it means you're totally in charge of your own destiny. Rather than waiting for somebody else to give you the promotion or somebody else to pat you on the back, you're actually getting out there and making it happen yourself. So your future is mapped out. You can set yourself your own goals that are achievable goals, and you can work forward continually to try and improve your business, grow your business. And it's nice to see it happening. Every month you can look at where you're actually sat on your paperwork and you can see how your business is growing, your customer count is going up, balances are increasing. So it's good, you're driving your life forward rather than sitting back and letting somebody else take the driving seat.
If someone was thinking of starting their own business, I would certainly encourage them to go down the franchise route. 30 years ago when I took the plunge, it was nervous. It certainly do get that way. But I would encourage people to look at it and try and decide what they want in life. If they want to take charge of their own destiny, then a franchise model is probably a good way to go. But they need to make sure they're comfortable with the company, do the research, the due diligence, and then be absolutely sure they're 100% committed to it. Because without that commitment, it's difficult to realise the goals that they want to.
If you're somebody who's driven, enthusiastic and really wants to make a change and work for yourself, It takes all the risk away from trying to set your own business up. It's a proven model. I think franchising is certainly the way forward. There's plenty of different franchises to choose from. Whatever you fancy doing, you'll be able to find a franchise that would work for you. This has certainly worked for me. I don't see how I would have set up my own business doing anything else, really. This is the opportunity was perfect for me.
The first thing you can do is to go and look at the business itself, because it does exist. You can ask the people who are running it whether they're making a profit and so on. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the right business for you. And the important thing is about matching your skills and aptitudes to the business you're going to be buying into. It's also about being realistic about what you're going to do every day. You know, I meet lots of people who say that they want to own their own business, and I ask them what it is they want to do, and they tell me they want to own their own business. And I say, no, I didn't ask you that. I asked you what you want to do. Do you want to sit in a van, driving around garages, selling spanners to mechanics? Do you want to stand behind a counter, selling hamburgers to people? Do you want to run teams of people who are selling hamburgers to customers in a retail shop? Exactly what do you want to do every day? One of the advantages of franchising is that you can go and ask people who are already doing it what they do every day. You don't want to buy into a franchise to be unhappy. That is not the object of the exercise. So one of the things you've got a great opportunity to do in franchising is to make sure that you're going to be happy doing the business, whatever it is that involves.
We do hope that you've enjoyed today's show. Join us next week to find out more about the benefits of franchise opportunities. See you then.